a traveller's guide to Edinburgh. The weird, the wonderful, and the whiskey-soaked. Hello, fellow wanderers. Today, we're diving into Edinburgh, Scotland's capital. A city where history drips from every cobblestone, ghosts linger in the closes, and the unexpected waits around every corner. I'm not here to bore you with the usual tourist spiel about Edinburgh Castle or the Royal Mile, though they're brilliant. Instead, let's explore the oddities, the hidden gems, and the downright bizarre that make this city a traveller's dream. Grab your raincoat, because it's April 2nd, 2025, and we're off to Edinburgh. Arrival, the city that smells like breakfast. Stepping off the train at Waverley Station, you're hit with a whiff of something. Malty, that's Edinburgh's signature scent, courtesy of the breweries churning out beer and whiskey. Locals call it the Old Reeky aroma, a nod to the city's smoky, industrial past. Fun fact, Edinburgh's air once carried such a stench from coal fires and tanneries that it earned the nickname Old Smoky. Today, it's more like a breakfast buffet. Think toasted oats and a hint of hops. Breathe it in, it's your first taste of the city's character. The world's shortest war and a cannon with attitude. Let's kick things off at Edinburgh Castle, but not for the crown jewels or the postcard views. Tucked in the castle's walls is the 1 o'clock gun, a cannon that's been fired daily since 1861, except Sundays to help ships set their clocks. Here's the weird bit. On August 25, 1896, this cannon accidentally sparked the shortest war in history. A misfire during a drill led to a 38-minute standoff with a confused fishing boat. No casualties, just a lot of shouting and a quick apology. Time your visit for 1 p.m., stand on the esplanade and feel the boom rattle your bones. Afterward, wander down to the grass market. This historic square was once a hotspot for public executions, over 100 hangings in the 17th century alone. Look for the Covenanters' Memorial, a subtle nod to the religious rebels who met their end here. In 1829, a pooch named Bobby watched his owner's execution and stayed by his grave for 14 years. That's Greyfriars Bobby, and his statue nearby is a must-see. Rub his nose for luck, but locals grumble it's wearing him down. So maybe just wink at him instead. Underground ghosts and a king's lost treasure, Edinburgh's underbelly is where things get spooky. Book a tour of the South Bridge Vaults, a network of chambers built in the 18th century. Originally storage for merchants, they became slums. Then haunts for body snatchers like Burke and Hare. Unusual fact, archaeologists found a tiny, hidden room in 1985 with shoes and toys, hinting at a family who vanished down here. The air's damp, the stories are chilling, and if you're lucky, you might catch a whiff of something paranormal. Guides swear they've seen shadows move. Next, hike up Arthur's Seat, the extinct volcano looming over the city. It's a 45-minute climb, but the view's worth it. 360 degrees of Edinburgh's jagged skyline. Here's the oddity. Legend says King Arthur's Camelot was here, and in 1836, boys found 17 miniature coffins buried in a cave. Each had a carved wooden figure inside, dressed in cloth. Were they a witch's curse? A sailor's memorial? No one knows. But replicas are at the National Museum of Scotland, if you're curious. Pack a picnic, sit on the summit, and ponder the mystery. A library of skulls and a whiskey bath. Head to the Surgeons' Hall Museums for a dose of the macabre. Tucked in this medical treasure trove is a collection of over 400 skulls. Some painted with phrenology maps, 19th century pseudoscience claiming your head shape reveals your personality. Unusual fact, one skull belonged to William Burke himself. The murderer turned anatomy lesson after his 1829 execution. His death mask and a book bound in his skin are here too. It's grim, fascinating, and not for the faint. After that, you'll need a drink. Skip the touristy whiskey tastings and visit the Scotch whisky experience. Yes, it's popular, but hear me out. They've got a barrel ride. Think Disneyland, but boozy. And a vault with 3,384 bottles. The world's largest whiskey collection. Unusual twist. In 2011, a Brazilian artist bathed in whiskey here for an installation. You can't replicate that, but sip a dram of Petit Lafargue and imagine it. Bonus tip, ask for a whiskey flight with obscure distillery pics. Your taste buds will thank you. A fake street and a penguin parade. Stroll to Mary King's Close, a preserved 17th century street buried beneath the city chambers. It's not just a time capsule, the close was sealed off in the 1640s after plague rumors, and the city built over it. Unusual fact, residents left so fast that furniture and pots still sit where they were abandoned. Guides in period costumes spin tales of hauntings, bring a camera for the eerie vibes. Then, lighten the mood at Edinburgh Zoo. The penguins here aren't just cute, they're knights. Sir Nils Onov, a king penguin, was knighted by the Norwegian Guard in 2008 for being their mascot. He inspects the troops waddling past daily at 2:15 p.m, a penguin parade with military precision. Unusual fact, Nils is the third in his line. The original was adopted in 1972. Snap a photo with this feathered VIP and marvel at the absurdity. A witch's curse and a floating head. Wrap up at St. Giles Cathedral, a Gothic stunner on the Royal Mile. Look for the heart of Midlothian, a mosaic in the pavement outside. Locals spit on it for lacrosse, but it's tradition tied to an old prison. Inside, check the Thistle Chapel's carvings. One angel's face is said to be a mason's mistress, snuck in as revenge on his wife. Unusual fact, in 1637, a woman named Jenny Geddes threw a stool at a preacher here, sparking a riot over a prayer book. That's Scottish passion for you. Finally, visit the Camera Obscura and World of Illusions. This Victorian funhouse has a periscope projecting live city views. But the real treat is the quirky exhibits, a floating head illusion, a mirror maze, and a vortex tunnel that'll leave you dizzy. Unusual fact, it's Edinburgh's oldest purpose-built tourist attraction, opened in 1835. It's silly, surreal, and the perfect farewell. Final thoughts, Edinburgh's magic. As you sip a final dram in a cozy pub, try the Bow Bar for its 400+ whiskies. Reflect on Edinburgh's blend of the strange and sublime, from cannons starting wars to penguins with titles. This city doesn't just tell history, it throws. Pack comfy shoes, an open mind, and maybe a ghost detector. Edinburgh's waiting, go get lost in it.